you had a little bit of, I don't want to call it, in the initial journey when you were starting this whole thing, like,
Career change.
yeah. So I know you have a background in law.
Yeah.
So, like, what made you move from saying, okay, I don't, not that I don't want to be a lawyer or something, but I know that there are transferable traits. But what really made you move from that, and how we met quite some time
Yeah.
ago, and then now you are
So
into,
it's been a long journey actually. I think we met around COVID period, isn't it?
yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly.
So it was COVID time, and I just wanted a career change. I just wanted something new. Actually, that time I lost my contract. The contract work I was doing, I did lose it. So I just wanted to do something new, and then just to do a bit of reading because I love reading. So that was why I dabbled into tech. One of my very young friends, and he just told me, just say, Auntie, just go and do BA. I was like, BA? I said, he said, go and do BA. Okay, I said, okay. I said, I'll have a read about it. And then that was when I went to, was it career? What was
Yeah,
that?
almond, yeah,
Hammond Career. Yeah. So
right.
that was when I went to Hammond Career and I did the BA. And when I did it, it was like Greek. So that time was like, oh, what have I done into? So I said, you were one of the lecturers or teachers there then. So I said, okay. And I said, okay, listen, are you going to mentor me in this thing? Because I just don't understand what it is. And this is one thing I keep telling people, that if you want to do a career change, you have to do an investment. It's an
Yeah,
investment on your career. Yeah, I understand. It's a big investment. And I remember then approaching and I said, you're going to mentor me on this, because I just don't have a clue what it is. And I think that's where the journey started. And then after a while, I finished that one again. I did the BA with you again and everything. I was still did my CV, looking for work and everything, still couldn't get a job. Then I relaxed and then I still said, okay, I want to get into this tech because I've invested so much money in it.
yeah.
You know,
So
I've invested so much money and I'm talking money. So I said, okay. So I said, okay. So one of my friends, I was talking to her and I said, look, I've done this thing, but I just need like a body. You understand? Like somebody that will actually give me a project to do and everything. So she said, oh, I know this place. Do you know what? Do you mind? Just hold on. And that was how she called in. And she gave me the details. And when I got there, it was they have a platform on what's it called now? Telegram.
yeah,
And what they do is that the way they've done it is very different from how every other person do their lectures. So they first do like 2 weekends of all the courses. So they will do BA, they will do Scrum Master, they will do data analysis, they will just give you an overview of what it is all about. And when they finished, and I just said, I see myself more as a Scrum Master than even as a business analyst, because based on the things that I've been doing, with work and everything. So I said, okay, let me just give this Scrum Master within another push. And that was how I did the training, finished the training off. I did my certification, I passed. I said, oh, okay, good. We're going to do well. And I started doing interviews. And then that's it. Got a job, got the second job, you know, and yeah, that's it.
yeah. So do we say that because some persons just feel like, I was speaking with one of my brothers today, or friends, and people don't want to invest. People don't want to spend, like they want to sit down and pray for the door to open, even when God is saying, see, go and push that door. Because like one thing I studied about the whole, every miracle that has happened in the Bible, whether it
Yeah.
is the wall of Jericho falling down, it's hard work to move
Yeah.
around
Hmm.
the particular thing for 7 days.
Yeah.
And on the seventh day, you now move around it 7 times. Like it's
Hmm.
work itself.
Yeah.
So people just think, oh, they just blasted the raw,
No, no, no,
blew,
no.
and it
Wait.
felt. No, it's some things you just have to put the work. And most people
Mhm.
do not want to put the work down. They
You need
just
to. You need
they
to.
I
You
don't
need
know. I don't know. So before we actually just go in and start, what advice do you really have for because I'm sure there are people who have invested. Some people are happy to invest, but they've invested in the wrong places.
Okay. All
So most times I do tell them, okay, the first thing you have to forgive yourself and
right. Hmm.
trust God and find somebody. There's my own is that I believe there's always somebody around you that
Hmm.
God placed to help you in that next
Hmm.
and some people were sold. For example, let's say you are not somebody who has the passion to speak to people. This is rather you like that internal Scrum engagement and
Organization, yeah.
exactly. But
Hmm.
somebody have sold business analysis to you and you're struggling.
Hmm.
So before we start, so do you have anything you could give to somebody who is either about to start or have started or is feeling frustrated or they've gotten, because you mentioned something like when you lost your job or contract in the COVID period, that was a pivotal moment, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So what's advice would you give to anybody who is just listening?
For anybody listening and starting, right, it's going to be a lot of hard work. It's going to involve a lot of reading. It's going to involve a lot of sacrifice, and sacrifice in the sense that you would need to have a roadmap on what you want to do. Now, this thing that you want to do, do you see yourself in it? Now, like for business analyst, as much as I did the course twice from two different places and I had a mentor, I still wasn't getting the feel of it wasn't me. You understand? It wasn't my personality. So as much as you're looking into to say, okay, everybody is doing BA, everybody is doing this, is this something that actually clicks with you? Is this something that you find yourself in it? That's one. Then the second one is that, do you know what? I can't say it enough. You need a mentor. You need a mentor. Let me tell you one thing, Darlington. After I finished, my first contract I got was when I started Scrum. I said the first job I got was with Vodafone, and it was a contract. And I just went to it and finished it up. And when that stopped, I started looking for another job, and I couldn't get a job for like 3 or 4 months. Then the second job I got, do you understand? It was a total different field entirely. And because I got that job, I got a mentor. I paid mentor for the first 3 months of that job. I got a paid mentor. So anything that happens at work, at the end of the day, I'll tell them this and this is what happened and everything. Okay, we'll say, okay, then you do this. This is what you do. This is what you do. And that was what I've been able to. Do you understand? I was paying him, it was like virtually half of my salary every month. But I did it for 3 months. I did it for 3 months. So that actually made my feet to stand in that place now. And it really, really helped me because by the time I was like 2, 3 months, they've already put me a part of management
Hmm.
because I was giving them stuff. You understand? So it's money that you used to get money. Oh. That's it.
Exactly. That's the whole
That's the
because
whole. Yeah.
it's the reason why I'm saying this is most persons just feel that just by like they want to get things for and I've discovered that anything that is free is not valued, right? Even whatever Jesus had to do, even though salvation is one of the is the most expensive, it was paid by blood, right?
Mhm.
It's you have to pay.
Yeah.
Like if one thing I know mentorship has done for me and for everyone who I have happened to work with is if I want to go into a new space and you are already in that space, there is something you have. There your experience is made up of mistakes and things that you have done. So
Mhm.
if I call you and say, Ayo, please mentor me. And you say, okay, you mentor me, I would pay half of my salary. I don't mind. The thing is, by the time I work with you for all the mistakes you have made,
You won't
you
make
have
it.
made me to avoid them.
Mhm.
And in the new environment, they'll say, wow, like, where is this thing coming from? And by the time you are promoted in 3 months, because it took somebody 6 years, 5 years,
Yeah.
3 years to get, he has shared with you,
Mhm.
and you've gone 3 years in 3 months. I
Yeah.
was I was telling in 2021, yeah, 2021, I was checking October 13th was my birthday then. So I was checking where I was October 2021 versus October 2020. And I discovered that I was earning 5 times what I was earning in 2020. I had managed almost 8 times the number of projects and I was trying to do analysis like where this quantum leap, where did it actually come from? And the truth was very simple. It might be very simple what a mentor said, do it this way. You're going from Lagos to Ibadan. Don't follow this road. Follow this other side. But this side is inside bush. Don't worry, follow it. You don't have anybody there.
Yeah.
The thing is, you might meet this, you might meet that, but it will take you quicker time to develop you. And following that, it will look like this person is. There's one English we used to use when we were small. This person is wicked in you, something like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you discover that you have grown 5 years in 3 months, in 6 months, all because you were able to rest on the shoulder of somebody. So I think everyone just want to welcome I call her Auntie Ayo. She's my new girl. Big
And do
C.
you know what is that you said that? Do you know what thing and everything? And I was doing all this when I've already been over 50.
Yeah. It's that's these are some of the things that why I've mentored different sets of people, right? But there's something about you that made me rethink, right? No matter how I don't want to use the word old, but no matter how advanced one is in God can still start from with you. When we read Moses, we read Abraham, but when did they start? When did God meet them? 80 something, 70 something, 90 something. So even in this corporate world, it doesn't matter how your past career has,
especially in tech.
exactly.
They don't, especially in tech, they don't.
You just start from anywhere. So all you just need is somebody to mentor you and guide you, and so that what you would have spent the next 5 years, 6 years, 10 years getting, you're resting on the shoulder of somebody who has already gotten it, and it's going to make the whole journey shorter. But we would all have to work.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that intro. This it's something that would have paid thousands of pounds to you, but thank you for sharing with us. So I will just go straight to what we have for today. First of all, I just want to ensure that everybody can see my screen. So if you could see, please jump on. Okay, so today we just want to look at, because one of the key things is people are kind of project management, Scrum Master, project manager, Scrum Master, like, are they similar? Can they coexist? Are they different people? I think today we would be able to answer that. So let me just give a little bit of who we are. So Mentor Partners, our focus is on growing experience. We work with live mentors, projects. The thing is, whatever be the gap that you have, will help to close that by, like we said during the intro part of the call, via guided mentorship. There's nobody who would get into a new space without asking a roadmap from those who have actually gotten there. And roadmap, very, very important. One of the key difference is that anybody who is to go into any discipline, whether IT support, data analysis, Scrum Master, business analyst, project management, delivery management, change management, business intelligence analyst, mechanic, anything apart from native doctor, there's always a roadmap that is created for the first 6 months, and then for the next 2 years, and for the next 4 years. So this is for you to know where this career is going to lead to based on where the current trend and where things are going. So this is where you should focus on. This is the kind of industry, especially when people are transitioning from one career to another. 2 weeks ago, we had two persons. One was patients who was a midwife and transitioned into healthcare project management. Then we also had another person, Toby, who came from engineering, transitioned into project management, and every one of them had their unique challenges at that point. Some were moving into a new country, some were about to get married, some had already gotten married and maybe just gave birth to children. They are trying to get back. And we even have a lady who we had to adjust her meeting time to even 10 p.m. in the night because she has to put all the children to sleep, both children and Oga. She has to put them to sleep so that she could actually then focus. So there is always that tailor-made way of working, and the mentors that we have are kind of understanding on how to tailor things to meet the needs of people. So in today's, we would look at a project manager here who is putting on green, and then we have a scrum master here. Although today the panel we have a lady, but then so the way they think, it's a little bit different. So one looks at um, things that have to go from start to finish, the whole project overview, why the other person who is a scrum master looks at things from a cycle kind of thing. There are things we've agreed to do over the short cycle. We'll look at it every day, track it to ensure that that is done, protect anything from affecting that, track the energy and the burn rate of each team member. So we would be having a look on the difference between this project manager here who is presenting the status of the report to a to one of the senior stakeholder, and this is more like either a business analyst or a developer who is helping. So whatever this person is doing is translating to whatever chat this that is on this board. Rather, a scrum master is having look at things are broken down in chunks. It's coming from a backlog to whatever, from a product backlog to a sprint backlog, and all working within an agile cycle. Now, this other diagram here just talks about the similarities. So while a project manager communicates with the client and stakeholders, Scrum Master kind of communicates with a defined set of people, the product owners, the clients within that agile environment, even the development team who is getting the things done. So project managers and scrum masters, they can actually work together. I'm going to show some different organizational charts to see how they interrelate. But all of them must have communication skills. All of them report. The way they report is different. Who they report to is different. Now, the way they lead is different. One is more of a scrum master. I think I have Igechi on the panel. On the call. While the other person is leading more, this person has to, one might be more assertive and one might be more listening. Scrum Master is always that person who is leading by example, who you don't force things on people, rather you make people do things based on the way they see you do things. But a project manager, you have to be at that forefront. They both organize. The way they organize is quite a little bit different. Now, my next look at a project manager, if we want to break a PM into something very simple, we say they allocate resources, they manage project budgets, scope, and the rest. They develop the project plan, they promote collaboration within the team, they mitigate risk, the cycle goes on. Rather, for a Scrum Master, they facilitate Scrum events, eliminate and remove obstacles within the Scrum environment or that cycle. They coach the team. This is actually very, very important because they have to pass and teach the Scrum principles to every person within the organization. And they also communicate. So sometimes you have the sponsor of that main project. You have stakeholders by the left. You have the steering committee in the middle. You have a project manager who is reporting to a bigger group of sets, while a Scrum Master is kind of managing communication within that Scrum team. So this Scrum team could have developers, testers, sometimes a business analyst could be within that Scrum team who is helping to collect the user stories, create it in the backlog, which Ayo would show us. I think we'll be using Azure DevOps today just to give an overview. We also have, I think I have another clearer, sorry. So here is how it looks like in a little bit. So you have a program manager, a project manager. This is where they stay. Then you have a product owner. The product owner sometimes do have their respective Scrum teams, or we call them development teams. So the Scrum team is made up of the product owner and the Scrum team or the development team. And this is where the Scrum Master reside. So if you have different product managers, product owner here, product owner here, product owner here, looking at giving respective type of product, definitely you have a Scrum Master. And where I've worked with several Scrum Masters, and most of the time they work closely with a product owner. And then that product owner is reporting to me, the project manager, who is interfacing with the customer on a bigger level. So I'm just trying to paint the picture because so many people think, so there is also a case of, okay, let me just explain this. So this is another way. So you have the head of product or the product director who a product owner is reporting to. Now, the product owner has his or her Scrum team on the left, another Scrum team on the right, where you have the Scrum Master and the development team. A project manager is here, a solution architect is here. Maybe these people 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, it could be, this could be a product manager, 1, 2, 3, they are customer facing, getting, and then a business analyst could be inside or could stand outside, interfacing with the customer. Now, the last but not the least organization I want to show is this. Now, the point is a product, okay, this is not the last. A project manager could also be a Scrum Master. This is where to the external people, he is acting as a project manager. Internal, he is acting as a Scrum Master. Now, this, I think this should be the last. So we have the client here. This is another organizational structure where the software development team has a project manager, a business analyst, and the Scrum team. The Scrum Master is in between all of this. So I don't know which organization you may find yourself. So I'm just trying to put the different type of organization that we could find ourselves. So please, if you're not talking, I would love us to kind of be on mute. Now, let me just go straight to introduce Ayo. Now, Ayo, we have, it's quite, so Ayo, is there a piano at your background? I have one here. I have a piano here, I have a guitar here, I have a drum set by my, I don't know if this is my room now, it's a music department, I don't know. So now Ayo has worked as a Scrum Master with Vodafone, also with AIG. I think AIG should be American Insurance Group. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So also with Lloyd's, and then also with Alpha Insurance, and then also this. I think that was a miss on my side. Now these are the different certifications that you have. I don't know whether I have this. God will help me. Maybe you have to come and coach me. So,
Need all those certifications as well for your interviews, actually.
yeah. It's very, very important, especially when. But my question is, before you started this whole Scrum Master journey, did you have the certification before your first job, or it was after your first job you then got these certifications?
Oh, I got some before and I got some after. And one of the reasons when I finished my course and I was more confident on it, I just said to myself, I need to get a certification before I even start looking for work. I just needed one before I started looking for work. And immediately I got that one, which was the PSM one.
Uh-huh.
I said, okay, all right, now that's the minimum for me to now say, okay, I've got this. And then that was how I started. So these certifications, they're good, right? But it's what you know, is the
Mhm.
practicality of it.
Yeah, yeah.
You understand? Because as much as the Scrum Guide says, do this, do this, do this, different organizations have different things. They have different structure. So
Mm.
even if so, when you're going for interviews, at times there's no right or wrong answer because this is the way we do it where I work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where most times people make a mistake. Like they've so
Mm-hmm,
crammed the theoretical aspect of things. That was why I had to show different structure of where a Scrum Master fits
mm-hmm,
in different. So one of those organizations where like so you have Oracle, you have so the Scrum Master, Scrum is Scrum, but the way a Scrum Master would work in organization A might be slightly different. Some they might give you more autonomy to do things, some you
mm-hmm,
might just have less autonomy. But the key thing is just tell them this is how you have done it in your previous role, rather than coming to tell me one theoretical thing of how Scrum Master does things. So in terms of so my last question to you, I think in all of these I could see financial services and banking, I could see IT, telecoms, I could see insurance. Which of the which of these industries do you like most?
do you know? Do you know? Okay. Anything that gives me money, or I don't. I don't anything that gives me money. Presently, where I work now, funny enough, I've left with that phone. Where I work now, I've not just updated my CV on LinkedIn for some reason
Yeah,
or the reason. Yeah, where I work now, they just do franchises. It's almost most franchises all over UK, and we do the software development. So, so it could be anything. It's just franchises. So the likes of Molly Maid, the likes of Stagecoach and everything. That's what we do. So it doesn't necessarily have to be these big ones.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the beautiful part. Like if once somebody gains experience in one,
Mm,
right? Like you could apply. This is why most times I tell people it's not really about I want to work in this industry, I want to work in this company, I want to no, it's like if you gain the practical experience of how things ought to be done, you would not be you will not be tied up in any part. You could move from. So the reason why I listed out these are the way things happen in insurance is different from the way things happen in banking. It's different
mhm,
from the way things happen in IT and telecoms. But the key thing is that what the Scrum Master would do in all of them is quite similar,
yeah.
irrespective of the business environment that they find themselves. Okay, so for me, I really don't know how to give an introduction, so I'm going to run very fast. I have worked in different organizations over the past few years. I think from 2016, 2014, 2020. So down to where I am today. I started from engineering, got sacked in engineering. Um, so my pivotal story, or every day I go on my knees, I say, God, thank you that I got sacked. And if you feel that I need to get sacked again to show me where I need to go to, please sack me, right? That's
Mm,
that. I don't. If you other people don't like praying that, but sometimes we get so in love with where we are that we can't see where God is asking us to go to. So the only way is to kind of rock the boat and out of love, rock the boat and push you, make some things to happen, take you out of Potiphar's house, put you in prison. Every other person will say, how can a loving God put you in prison? But if you're not in prison, you can't be preserved to know when. And the truth is, there are some people um, that must remain where they are till the Joseph, I mean, till the Pharaoh that is going to dream and remember them dreams. Because if you live where you are at the earlier time, you might
mhm,
miss it. So I remember I love seeing this story. The hiring manager who employed me from Nigeria and took me to the UK in 2022. I came into the UK in my second missionary journey in 2023, February, and the manager resigned and joined another company in May. So it's like I was saying that, is it that this guy did not know that I was going to resign, or I don't know, but maybe he had if it was another manager, maybe I wouldn't have been employed. Maybe that one would have said, "Oh, who is this black? What are we doing with this black guy with big nose?" Something like that. So, but in all, I think that's where the timing and understanding of where how God wants us to walk would actually be. So I did a bit of business management, I did a bit of telecoms, and I have worked in a couple of industries, and let's forget about the certification. So now we would go through what we have to do today. So um I would start with you. So I would stop sharing my screen. So you are the person with the hat here. So I'm giving you the hat to start. You have to drive. So I don't know what you intend to show us today on the Scrum Master space. I will stop sharing my screen. So feel free to I hope you'll be able to navigate through sharing with
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let me share.
okay.
Can you see my screen?
I think it's yes. It's coming.
It's loading.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Yeah, you can see. Right. So okay. So I'm going to talk about four major ceremonies that you as a Scrum Master you have to be the one to facilitate. Right. And that could be your iterative sprint. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 4 weeks. It depends on how many weeks the organization decide. But mostly they do 2 weeks. Do you understand? So for every 2 weeks, we deliver a product. For every 2 weeks, we deliver something. So I've set up a board, which is an Azure board, and this is the board. You as a Scrum Master, you're the one that is going to set up this board. And luckily, Azure DevOps, you can have the free sample ones. So just go in and go and set up that board for yourself and just play with this board. Now, I've done what is called uh, a backlog. Right. So everything here, right, I've named it. So let's say we're working on a feature, payment. Right. And that's what the product owner has come in. The product owner has said, oh, the business wants you guys to work on payment this your next sprint. And I've liaised with them. I've gotten all the stories. I've written all the stories and I've put them in the product backlog. Now you have the Scrum Masters in your calendar. You need to have dates for those four ceremonies highlighted before, which is the daily Scrum, which is the sprint planning, which is the retro, and your review. So you need to monitor the calendar of the whole team. You bring them into meetings. Do you understand? Because these developers, they're developing. So the time is free for them because that's their work time. So you as a Scrum Master, you have the lock that you can set up that meeting to suit you. My daily Scrum starts at 10 a.m. every morning. So it's not I'm rushing to go and do, even the work starts at 9, but it's 10 o'clock that will do it. Because one, I have distributed teams. So I have people that are in Ukraine, I have people that are in I have somebody that is in where's this country now? Netherlands. And I have another one that goes to see his girlfriend in Thailand. And he stays there most times. So you need to put them into consideration. So it's 10 o'clock in the morning. You can do 11, you can do 12, whatever time you suit you and the team. Just set up. So every day you have daily scrum. Every day of those 2 weeks, you have a daily scrum. Then at the start of the sprint, there's something called sprint planning. What sprint planning means is we're planning on what we're going to do. And before you do that planning, there's something called backlog refinement. Now, backlog refinement is not in the Scrum guide, but backlog refinement is the best thing that can happen to Scrum. The reason why I said that is that in backlog refinement, you have the product owner, you have the developer, you as the Scrum Master, you facilitate it. So when the product owner comes in and says, oh, they want you guys to work on payments this week, and I've written the stories, you come into backlog refinement and you ask the developers, okay, this is the story. Can you explain what they want? What fixes do they want in this payment? What's this like this online payment now? Let me just open this. Right. So the product owner has written online payments option and it's written that as a customer, I want the online payments option so that I can complete my purchase without needing to carry out cash or visit a physical store. That's what they want you to do. That's what they want the developers to do. So the developers now need to ask questions, as in, how many options do you want? Do you want just Visa cards? Do you want American cards added to this? Because they're the one that is going to develop it. You are not a developer. You don't know how to develop as a Scrum Master. You understand? So you need to help them to ask the product owner questions. So when they finish asking the questions, you will say again, does anybody have any questions regarding this? That's your job because you're the one facilitating it. Does anyone have any questions? If they say no, 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 they'll say, okay, let's estimate. Now, estimation, the easiest way I can describe estimation is you putting a dog and no, a cat and a lion, right? You can see the difference between the two, right? So say you give a cat 4 points and you give a lion 32 points. Right. That's the easiest way to describe estimation because estimation is vague. It's not static. It's something you're just telling them that based on the work that you have done before, based on the fact that you have seen a cat before and you have dealt with a cat before, how many story points and the size of the cat, the work that you would do as a developer regarding building that cat or looking at that cat, you're just going to give it 4. But when you see a lion, you already know a lion is bigger. What you're going to be doing regarding it is going to be more massive. It's going to take your time. That's the simplest way of estimating. So your developers, you ask them to estimate. Then you ask them, do they have any other questions? If they say they don't have any other questions, you put in the estimations. But some reason, because this is a cheaper one, it didn't give us the option of estimation. But it's normally here. I don't know why it's not that. It's not where this to it. This normally here will say estimate. So you just estimate it and then you save it. Right. Now, what I normally do in my team is because I have just 4 developers in my team. Immediately we've estimated something, I'm putting it as something that we're going to do in the sprint. It could be different in your organization. You could leave it here at the back at the backlog, product backlog. But for me, because I know my developers, in fact, when I put it here, right, immediately the one that is talking so much about that job, that is talking about this, that I can see, I'll quickly allocate it to him. I'll put his name there. Their name will come up. I'll put their name there, and I'll save it. You understand? Some jobs, some companies, they don't assign it, but that's how I do it to give me peace of mind. Do you understand? So I know that okay, this person, because I don't know how to develop. I'm not a developer. So all I know is I just make sure they do that work. So it's the best person for the job that I give it to. So you give them the work. So we've approved everything. We finished sprint planning, right? In that 2 weeks, every morning you come out and you ask them, oh, what are you doing and everything. Say developer A has finished this work. He moves it. He moves it on the board. But you know one thing with developers, they forget to move their stories. So that's one of your job. You're looking at it, you're asking them, maybe midday, you just send a message. Oh, Rosie, how are you? Hope you're doing fine. How far with story number 3? How far are you doing with it? Have you tested it? What's the work? You just send them the 2 notes and everything. Oh, they say, oh, I'm still working on it and everything. I say, okay, don't forget to move it when you finish up because you want them to move it. The reason why you want them to move it is that so that when management are looking at matrix behind the scene, they're saying that work is being done. It's not going to be here forever. So on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, you come in for daily scrum again. Hi everyone, and the 3 main questions things they answer. Those 3 questions you don't ask it directly, but you ask it indirectly. But the question is, what are you working on? What did you do yesterday? And are there any impediments? Are you having any issues? Did you have any issues yesterday or today that will make you not to be able to finish the work that we estimated as 4? So the developer has to come into that meeting and tell you. And if they're having issues, you are not a developer. If they're having issues, what you want to say is that, okay, you ask the team member, does anybody know about it? If not, there's a solution architect. Yours is to write down that issue that the developer is having. You write it down, and then you know that after that meeting, you're going to the solution architect, and tell them, or whoever you need to go to, they will tell you whoever you need to go to. It could be a senior developer to ask, how can this be done? But you know what? I direct them back to that person. I'll ask them, have you asked David? He's our solution developer. Solution architect. Have you asked David? Say, oh, he's asked David. I said, what has he said? Say, okay, all right then. Are you going to try and figure it out by midday? If you can't, then please let me know so I can get in touch with my manager. So he finishes off work like that, right? The second day, we'll finish work because this is a 1 week sprint because I'm going very, very fast. So you see that immediately you move that stories, yeah, it says it's committed. That means they're working on it. We've approved it in the sprint. We're working. This is what we're going to work on this sprint. Now they've moved this one again. They will say committed. That means it's committed. Then by that time you're having like 3 committed here. There should be some things that is saying is done. So that means the developer has finished work on it. So that's the flow. The flow goes that way. It's finished work on it. Then maybe the last day of the sprint, maybe Tuesday, you're looking at it and watching, okay, everybody, what's happening, or have developed this, have done this, fine, fantastic. We've put it in done. The last day of the sprint, you've put it in done. So that all the work has been done now. Right. So the last day of the sprint, 2 ceremonies do happen. One is called review and one is called retro. So on this last day, you already have it in your calendar, maybe midday or things. It all depends on the establishment now, because where I am now, we don't do review. But what you're supposed to do at review is for the product owner to come in, because my product owner comes in for all the daily Scrum meetings. So he already knows what is being done. And we don't have access to the business people. So he's the one that goes to meet the business people. So we don't really have review. But your organization could be that the business people come into the meetings. And if they come into the meetings, you have to be able to facilitate that meeting in a way that they don't disrupt your meeting. They're just going to be there as observers. So in that review, you show one of the developers, maybe the senior developer, they will show their screen and they will demonstrate this work to the business people, whether it's the product owner or whether it's the business people. It all depends on how it happens in your organization. When that review is done, business people will say, oh, this is what we said you should do. This is what, oh, okay, we like this one. And then you move it to UAT testing, which is another environment again. Now, after review, you as a Scrum Master, the sprint has ended. You need to do a retro for your guys. Now, your retro is for you and the development team alone. The product owner should not be in retro. And this is where my retro starts, because the version of this that we've got, if it's the full version, there should actually be a retro screen here. We say retrospective, but for some reason it's not showing here. So I've created a mural board. I hope everybody is hearing me though.
Yeah, we can hear you. I think it's because it's the free version.
Yeah, it's because it's the free version. Yeah, it's because it's the free version. So, and that's not a problem. You understand? You can have a mural board you can set up a mural board for the organization. Do you understand? Yeah, because this one is my own personal one, and I've set it up. And what you do at the end of that sprint is you just do this. There are different templates, and then you share this link. You share it with the team. Do you understand? At times I play music for them, or even before we do this, I'll just open this board and then we'll do it. We'll have a game, like a 5 minutes game, two truths and a lie. What's your best food? Different games, because we're at the last stage of this. You need them relax, and you need to let them, because you are coaching them as well. You need to let them explain to you how they felt about that thing. About the sprint, what happened, how they felt about it, and what we can change, what we can start, what we can stop, and then what we can continue. So that's what this template is all about. Yeah. Can you see my mural board now?
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. So you can just create the different ones. There's mural, there's Miro. You can, even if you're very creative, you can just do it on your own body. There's no thing, but because of record purposes, and these are actually for your records, because management will not come and ask you.
Yeah.
But you can take the feedback of what they've said, a constructive feedback, back to management. Because here is, they're talking about how they felt about the sprint. So for this year, what moral is all about is the moral is free as well. and it has a big page that you can use forever. So you just start the sprints. The after the games, you share this link with them, and then you just tell them that like pick a sticky notes. These are all the sticky notes right here. You can pick any sticky note here, and you drop it here, and then you just write. Right? You can write in here. So what is it that they need to write on these sticky notes? You tell what the thing is, what we should start doing. So as a team, we're doing a reflection. What is it that we should start doing that we're not doing? What new situation should we adapt as a team based on what happened in the sprint? It could be that it could be maybe one of the stockholder wanted to give the developer a work behind the Scrum Master, and the Scrum Master is now aware. We bring it here. You understand? The developers will bring it here and tell me that, oh, Michael wanted to give me some jobs and everything, and I said he should come to you. Did he come? And I said, yes, he did. I said, okay, right. I'm going to speak to Michael. You need to go through me to go through the developers. You can't just be directly asking the developers to do work, because you are there to make sure they concentrate on doing their work. So anything that would distract them from what we have committed into the sprint, you don't want it, because you want them to deliver. Because we have all agreed, we have committed that this is what we're going to do in this sprint. Do you understand? So you want to make sure that they deliver those things to the business. So what are the things that we should start? What experience should we try as a team? They will bring the suggestions. Do you understand? Your own is just to do a little bit of interrogation. Do you understand? But in a mild, joking way. Do you understand? Just for them to relax, because this is the end of the sprint. You need them to be motivated for next sprint. Do you understand? So you play with them, ask things. Then what ideas do you have? Do you understand? Here you can even say, okay, maybe we should revisit our definition of done. Do you understand? Maybe they had an issue with the product owner, and the product owner, when we did the review, it's always turning things back. It was always turning things back. Maybe he didn't provide the information on time. Maybe they requested for an attachment. He didn't provide. Okay, can we revisit our definition of done? So we can say, okay, maybe. All right. So that's what we're going to do next spring. So next retro, we'll revisit our definition of done. So it's not written in stone that we have to follow these templates. There are different templates that we can follow. So ask them what this, they will fill it up themselves. Then what are the things that we need to stop as a team? Do you understand? Does anybody feel threatened? Does anybody feel as if they're not being helpful to them? Do you understand? This is how you call what with respect, because there are values in Scrum as well. You understand? You say it with respect that, oh, I did ask Khan for some information and it took a while to bring it. And I don't think we should be able to be doing that in the sprint. Then Khan can say, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I just forgot. I was lost in my development work. Do you understand? Because you are building an healthy team. You're not building a toxic environment. You want everybody, because you need them to be motivated to do the work for you. Because you are the one that is going to deliver. So you can't be causing chaos. So what are the things that we need to stop? If there needs to be apology, if somebody is talking, in fact, there's decisions where, there's some people that when you talk, they want to talk as well. Do you understand? We can say, okay, anybody that happens would contribute £1, and will, just things that, how much is £1? Just things that would just make everybody to laugh, to joke, here it says what you should stop doing, what is not working very well, whether we think that something is not very working well. Maybe we don't have a tester, or a tester. Presently where I work now, we don't have a tester. So what I do is that when they finish the work, we do body testing. So each other developers will teach, the two developers, they will test each other's work. That's how it's happening in my establishment. So I can't go into interview now and say that my tester did this, my tester did this. Because presently we don't have a tester. So what we brought about body testing. So you test your body's work and they test each other's work. Do you understand? What is not having the desired outcome? So you see, with that now, after they've done that body testing, we put them in, then the PO now goes in and go and test it again. And then do you understand? So we're doing two people's work, because if it had been a tester, you'll just test it and goes to EAT. But now the PO has to go and test it because they don't want to spend money. But that's fine. We're working. Right. And the last one is, what do we want to continue? Do you understand? What should we continue as a team? What do we like and want to keep? What do we want to keep doing or testing? And what is helping us to make progress? And at times, I just put in there at the when I do that, I put kudos. Do you understand? Anyone you want to shout out to say thank you for what you have helped me in this thing, because you encourage them to help each other as well. They need to help each other if they're having issues. You want them to be able to have a relationship, if that's the word. And after that is done, you thank everyone, and it's the end of spring. My sprint is always on Friday because we work Mondays to Friday, Mondays to Fridays. But our sprint starts most Monday, so it's always Friday. Hence, so when it ends next week, thanks everyone. Thanks so much for your hard work. I really appreciate your work and everything. Let's do better next sprint, yeah. And if I don't get to chat with you again today, do have a nice weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. That's it. I hope I wasn't too fast.
No, it was okay. So maybe it's time for anyone
Question.
to ask questions, because I think you've taken us through. So my first question is, different organizations use different tools. So in where you have worked, always use them Azure.
Yes.
Or
Funny enough, everywhere I've worked is Azure DevOps. So
okay.
if I look for another job now and I have to learn Jira, I have to go on 2 hours on YouTube. I already know that I'm going on 2 hours on YouTube and just going to learn Jira. Yeah, but everywhere I've worked, funny enough, is Azure DevOps.
Yeah, maybe because they are either hosted on Microsoft and they
Mm-hmm.
all have
Yeah.
Azure as part of
Mm-hmm.
their
Their
license.
package, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, share your hand. Your hand is up.
Yes, thank you Aaron, for the presentation. It was quite insightful. My question is, before I start with the question, let me just do a recap. So, from all you said, you basically have shown us how you manage your team and manage everybody you work with. So, the importance of communication, creating an environment for everybody to work seamlessly and grow, give feedbacks and back and forth, which is great. Now, my question is centering around what's the communication method and how do you work on a day-to-day basis with the other stakeholders or upper management? Because you've talked about the team you work with in terms of during your Scrum processes, during your sprint, and also do you give us a bit of more insight into working with top management or
Okay.
stakeholders and all those
Okay.
things?
All right then. Thank you. So in my organization now, right? I'm in a peculiar situation in which I have two product owners. One of the product owner is my manager, right? So I set up meetings. So every Tuesday we have development meeting. So every Monday we have the old team will come in. The old team will talk about what we're going to do. Two different teams will talk about what we're going to do. Then 9:30 on Tuesdays we have development meeting. So that's Scrum Masters and management, right? And then we'll talk about what's happening in the team, what are the dynamics of the team, anything else we need to know about the team that is being talked about there. And that is it. We have that meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. Now, because my manager is my product owner as well, if I need anything, I just send him a chat. Do you understand? With regards to the team, I just send him a chat. Hi, Simon, blah, 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 and that's it. And it's Microsoft Teams. And I've done it in a way that I've created a creative culture in which, even if I want to call the developers, I send them a message first. I just don't call them. So I'll just say, "Oh, Darlington, are you okay for a quick call?" They say, "Sure, yes." Right. Then I call them. And the reason why I've done that is just that nobody calls me anytime, any other time. Do you understand? So this thing is until you are into the organization, you see how seamless it is. You understand the because what some tech and IT is trying to avoid is the toxicity that we have in other employment. You cannot have it in Scrum. It will not work. The framework will not work. Everybody has to work in alignment. Everybody has to be there to help each other, and you don't pull people down. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think Femi was asking a question regards can we say Scrum Master is micromanaging the development team? So
You can't
what
no,
exactly?
you can't micro. There is no micromanagement. No, you've already given them what you're going to do at the end of the sprint. So at times, the daily Scrum, they've given you all the information they want. So just the middle of the day, just to send a text, just to say how they are and everything. That's all. Because you're meeting the next following day and they're telling you what they have been doing. So there's no macromanagement there because you're serving them, and if they have issues, they will come to you. And some will say, I just quickly need to go to the shop. I said, yeah, that's fine. That's okay. You understand?
Yeah. Okay. I think thanks so much for that. I think if anyone has more questions, let them drop. So I would just on the other side, there is something on the way we work as project managers is slightly a little bit different. Now, and I'm going to mention the where Scrum Masters come in. I think there's somebody's hand. I can't see my full screen. So Igechi, yes, please. Igechi is a Scrum Master, so I think he has maybe he wants to create Scrum Master language. I don't
Yes. We like our parties when we see them.
Thank you.
Ayo, it's nice meeting you. Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
I've truly learned a lot today. Hearing from a different perspective. I'm actually in Canada. I'm a Scrum Master here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I also started as a project manager, PMO manager before my company transitioned into a product structure and moved all of us project managers into Scrum Master roles. So we all started learning new skills, being leaders. We're now trying to lead from the back, supporting the team so that the team is successful.
Mm-hmm.
So we all had to go through that mindset shift. But there's something I really love, like you said, and it also boils down to what you said earlier, that each organization would have their own approach.
Yeah.
You did mention that in your organization, the retro, the POs are not in the retros. But in my space, the POs are there, because they also I also captured their feedback on how the sprint went, and there's also a unique problem or unique impediment you already have. No, it's a unique impediment that you have in your team. You said you don't have a QA, and one of my teams too, I don't have a QA. The QA is, in fact, we have so much backlog of completed development work, and now we're not waiting to test. So there's something you said about body testing.
Yeah.
And that's something I'd love to introduce to my own space.
Yeah, just put in a buffer in the work so that the work is not much. So that by the time they finish up, the last 2 days of the sprint, let them do body testing.
Yeah, that's something that I've learned, and I'll introduce it to my team and see what they have to say. If they love it, we can update our team charter and coach everybody on how to do that. But I think it's a good idea because one of my teams, I lead two product teams, and each of the teams have like 2 or 3 product lines. So we're quite busy, and I think it would really be helpful because one team, we've gone far, done so much development work, and we've stacked up so much work for the QA to come and test. So this body testing is something that I would really love to implement and see how it helps us improve and
another thing, you could give your guys a break for a week, and just let them test all the work that's back.
Yeah, we run 2 week sprints, so I don't know how to look up. And the organization is so busy. It's fintech as well, so we're so pressed for time. But nice meeting you. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thanks, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Igechi, when you suggest the body testing to them and they agree, then you come and buy my anti-iron malts.
Yes, so.
I'll send it by DHL.
Yes.
Cold malt, though. Let it be like, don't let the ice.
Very cold one like this.
Yeah. So it's I think the essence of all of these things is to and that's where mentorship and guidance become very, very, very important because and one of the thing about the community as well, it's I'm facing this issue, like I don't have a tester, I only have this, what do I do? There must be somebody within the community as well who would have faced similar issue. I can remember when you shared a concern in the community, I think that was about 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, about the juggling between a Scrum Master and being asked to create requirement and all of
Mhm.
that. I said, see,
Yeah.
it's a blessing in disguise. Like
Yes. Yeah.
wherever you go today. So assume you're a Scrum Master, but you don't. Your own is you just wait for requirements to be created, and you get to a point where you have to do it. Like now that you know how to do it, it's a plus
Mhm.
compared to you just. So that's one thing that I do encourage people, like mentorship. It's not because anybody wants to eat your money. The truth
Money.
is that is just the only way to navigate through this thing. Everybody grows on the shoulder of another person. If you want to do it by yourself, fine. It will take you, if it takes other people 10 years, it will take you 10 years.
Mhm.
But what can I do to rest on somebody who had gone through that place 10 years and things that he could help me so that my own journey would be shorter. So this is where the whole things. So I will just show something very quick on the project management side, and because today is more of how what's the interjection between project management and Scrum. Now this is a typical um, project dashboard. So for project managers, we do have dashboards like this. This is a simple dashboard with Excel. So now a project goes through stages, like there'll be the scoping and proposal, then we'll kick off the project with the team, we'll kick off the project with the customer, the business analyst will come, help to gather the requirements, then the architect will kind of design the solution. Now here we have, so there'll be, here maybe will be development and QA testing. Now these parts here
Mm.
is where we would then have to go, we would need, because once the requirement is designed and the user stories are created, we would then, it will go through maybe a cycle of, so here a Scrum Master would definitely have to come. So the Scrum team that is going to develop that solution would be within this. This is if you're working in a customer facing project kind of environment. Now, if you're working in an internal product environment where we are constantly, just like in Igechi's case, where there's no particular time we say, okay, we're going to, so it's like we're constantly having a backlog of things to work. That's a different case. Now, from a project manager view, so let's say this is what we went through for, so there will be owners. Everything goes through a particular stage. So scoping and requirement, I think this is more like this. I mean, scope and proposal, this pre-sale stage. For a PM, this is planning, this is still planning, this is requirement gathering, is kind of a little bit into the execution. This is execution here down to when we finish. Now, project managers, the way we track issues is different from the way a Scrum Master would track issues.
Mhm.
Scrum Master would have their own board where they would actually be, maybe sometimes you have impediment logs, and we don't bother much about that. We have things what we call the issue register. Now, issue register, what is the issue? Describe it. What's the impact? What's the priority? Who raised it? Who is the owner? What action are we going to take to resolve that issue? What's the status and the date the issue is closed? So, for example, a QA has resigned. So, what's the issue? Resignation. I'll describe the issue. What's the impact? I had a project where I had a very large development team, and two persons resigned at the same time.
Hmm.
And one thing we can't stop is resignation, right?
Mm.
People have to move from the same way. There's one HR joke that why do our HRs cry when people leave? Is it not the same way they to go outside to other companies to poach people, right? So people would always move. But one thing I did that helped me is when people leave, I don't just start saying, hey, my boss, we need replacement. I do have what we call I've forgotten the name of this particular document, but there's a ranking. Every team member within my team, I put a ranking, just like in football. Every team member has a ranking. There are people that if they get injured, let's say I coach, I don't want to coach Man U. Let's say I coach another team, right? But let me just use Man U for example. I don't know. I just love the club, but I don't support them. So let's say
The
my
racing board.
yeah, no. It's like let's say one of the defenders. Let me use the old Man U, not this current Man U. So the old Man U had Ronaldo, he had Giggs, he had Ferdinand, Vidic, Van Nistelrooy, Rooney, and the rest. So let's say a key Rooney gets injured, and we're about to go into a final. Now, Sir Alex will know that this Rooney is a key player. So his absence from the team will be felt. But if it is a player on the bench who doesn't even play all the time that gets injured, yes, one player from my entire team has gotten injured, but what is the value score of that player? If the player is so less, we don't have to be bothered. We have a bigger risk when the first 11 gets injured. It's like you are preparing for a concert, and then if one usher gets sick, is different from when the chief drummer or the keyboardist or the bassist gets sick, because we know that finding a replacement in a very short time because of their skill, anybody can usher, anybody can do ushering easily, but you can't just start learning how to play the guitar or how to play the piano in a very short time. So those are key things you need to know. Even if I have a very large team, I'm not saying everybody is not important, but the score or the value of people, we need to rate them so that if one person is leaving, before I would go and start asking, I need a replacement, I need a replacement, I need to check if this person is on a very high value score. Just like for you, it's not as if a QA is not important, but we can improvise. How are we improvising? We do body testing. But if your developers don't have testing skills, they only know how to develop, they don't know how to do either alpha, beta testing or use any of the testing, then it becomes a very, very big risk. So those are things we need to check. Risk is actually managed in a very simple risk register that looks like this. All the actions for any project, for example, action leading to this webinar, there are things like reach out to Ayo to get her stuff, reach out to Darlington, develop the slide, create the meeting link, create the webinar. These all the respective actions that lead to a particular thing has to be managed and tracked in an action register. A stakeholder register looks like this. So you have the stakeholder name, a stakeholder group, the role. Now things like what is their responsibility in the project, what's their email address, what's their phone number, what's their influence, the level of influence, the level of interest, what's their current level of engagement, and what's the desired level of engagement you need from them. So Ayo could be working on my team, but her engagement level is 10% because that's what her manager could borrow to me. But I need Ayo at 50% or 60% for this project to be successful. So I track that in my own style of stakeholder register that looks like this. And PM, we use lessons learned. Now, I don't want to take so much time because I want to do and release us. So I will just go straight to how do I start this whole journey? Antayo mentioned a whole lot of things which I will just put together in this. Let me just go full screen mode. So this is a regular standard approach. So today, what we just had was more of a general sharing or general knowledge share on who a project manager. We spend so much time on the Scrum Master role. Who are they? What do they? Rather than you just reading through slides or listening to stuff, and they tell you this is. We had to call one of the past alumni to just share and say, "This is what I do. This is how I do it," and I'm sure if there are people who are intending to go into this role or intending to are already working on this role, there are things that they must have gotten. Now, how do we move? I think the next thing is to, I think the team would have shared you a link on the chat. Please book a call. Let's speak. Now, the reason why we need to speak, I mentioned something very, very important. And this is what we have. We also take note of. It's not about what I feel like doing. Now, most times you need to speak to somebody to kind of guide you on what is best. So I remember when I finished school, uh, finished secondary school, and then it was oil and gas, oil and gas, oil and gas. Very, very long time. Everybody was oil company. Oil. In fact, we didn't even have direction. It's like everybody wanted to go and work. But there were some people who I don't know how God blesses them. But these are people that we need to go closer to. So some persons have this ability to see. I think God just gives them. They may not be the most righteous people. They may not be the most, but the thing is, God just gives them this ability to see what is going to happen. And through these people, we're able to start developing passion within technology, engineering. And it doesn't really mean going to school to study engineering is all. Everybody who I know, not let me not use the word everybody, but most of the people I know today, it's one thing to study something in university, it's another thing to practice. So there's a very big disparity. I think we saw the other time a midwife, project manager was speaking to Ayo today, law background, Scrum master. It doesn't really mean if she wants to tomorrow and say, see, I have gotten all the money I need. Okay, let me start let me look at another aspect of law, which is maybe this, that it might not be wearing white hat on your head. There are, it doesn't really, the truth is what we read in school, it doesn't really mean we have to practice that, but there would be one or two skills for you to be a good lawyer. You have to kind of, you can't just make decision on face value, right? You have to bring out the facts. So if I'm a scrum master and I can't just say this is what I think, it has to be this is what the fact is bringing. Are there issues? Okay, we have to tackle this issue. If it also helps you even in the business analysis point where we have to do a business case, everything cannot be I feel. Nobody works with I feel. It has to be stated fact. So there's always something to transfer from what I have learned in the past to what I am doing now. So after the intro call, then we will do a roadmap planning. We don't start anything training or mentorship or solving a problem or preparing you for the market if we don't even know where the career is leading to. Now, this roadmap plan, some people have relocation in their mind, some people have PhD, some people have studies, some people have marriage. So all of those things are taken into consideration. And then which country are you looking to apply? Some persons want to start working remotely before they even go to the office. Some people don't want to go to the office. Some people want to work in an office. Some people want to work in Europe. Some people want to start from Ibadan. Some people want to start from Asia, China. But all of those things are taken into account and a roadmap is created. Now, from that roadmap, then we will then start whatever training, whatever mentorship. After you must have been trained and gone through the mentorship period, then you would then have to solve a problem. It could be one problem, it could be two problems, it could be three problems, but these are problems from existing organizations. Then only after you have solved that problem can we say that you're ready to start front facing to face the market. I really don't buy the idea of doing one, applying for 5,000 jobs, doing 1,000 interviews, then before you now say, finally, God has done it. Why do you have to go through 1,000? It's draining. So we need to make good use of the time and get ourselves to the point where after this, it's more of a congrats. So I would say if there's anybody willing to take before we end the call, click the link, I mean, that is provided in the chat or in the bio side, and then book an intro call. Let's speak. It's not really about the funding, it's not really about, we need to hear from you first of all. We need to understand how the whole thing fits into you before we go into any other stage. I think with this, I just want to thank everyone for their time. I don't know if anyone still have or has more questions to share. Feel free to let us know. I don't know if there are any one or two more questions. I hope I did not miss out any. Okay, Antayo, I am so appreciative of your time. I know you're like from your mother's womb, you were a teacher, so you were teaching every part, even when you weren't yet born. You had that
Thank
gift
you.
inside of you, and I pray that God will continue to help. And surely this will not be the last, because I feel a whole lot of persons need to, this is our channel to evangelize, to let people know that yes, truly God can help. And most importantly, if God needs to help you, you must be ready to do the work. So
It's
you must,
doable.
yes, it's doable, but you must walk. You
Yeah,
must walk.
sacrifice.
You must sacrifice and you must work. It's gone are days of where you just stay in your house, wave your hands and things will work. No, you must walk. You must be ready to invest your time, your money, your resources. Not really because anybody wants to take your money, but the truth is what where what you don't, if like wherever your treasure is, that's where your heart
The axis.
would be. So you have to put that thing down. And so this is 1 minute past the hour. I don't know if we have any question, anybody who wants to ask Ayo just one more question before we we go.
Good.
Thank you everyone. Please check the link on the chat space. Try to copy them because after now you may not have access to them anymore. So please just pick them if you want to book a call. Let's speak. Let's try and understand your pain points. Everything is not money. It's let's sit down. Let's know this is where you are. This is what you've done. Then we'll be able to know exactly this is what best fits you, so that you don't be like me or be like Ayo, who have initially,
Yeah,
I don't
but
want to call
that's
it, wasted some money. And
wasted body doing going all over the place,
yeah, but
but
it's like we were going like a woman who does not know the type of husband she wants to marry, or the man who does not know the type. This guy is tall or he's black, he's handsome, he's the person you will enter. Then later you now come out, men are this. Then you now go again. This one is fair. Like, but by the time you sit down, have a counsel with somebody who would who can be able to see, because you can't see yourself except you look through the mirror, right? So but there's another person who is looking at you and can, so that you will not come and say, they are all the same. No, everybody's not. You might be the problem. I had a friend who, the day I knew the guy was the problem was that each time I speak to him, he's always pointing that there is somebody, this person is, and the person the thing you're accusing somebody of doing, it's what you're currently, and 5, 6, 7 people cannot be wrong, right? They are telling you that you have this thing, but you say no. But anyway, God will help us. So thank you everyone.
yes, everyone.
And I wish you all a very good evening.